let's turn it over to Anna Olfelt, who's taking us city by city.
Warmer weather means it's construction season in Hinckley, and a relaxing weekend getaway is returning to the North Shore. All that and more as we take you around the Northland city by city. We'll start in Duluth, where Skyline Parkway and other seasonally closed roads reopen today. Those include Skyline Parkway from east of Glenwood Street to Maxwell Road, Seven Bridges Road from Lakeview Chalet to Maxwell Road, and Maxwell Road from Skyline Parkway to Oak Street. The West Skyline Parkway stretch from south of 100th Avenue West to the city limits will remain closed due to a construction project. Now we'll head to Hinckley, where construction season has returned and MnDOT will be resuming work on I-35 on Monday. There will be single-lane traffic in each direction during daytime work hours. However, on May 12th, traffic will be shifted to the northbound side in a single-lane head-to-head format until the fall. Motorists can expect delays, especially during peak weekend travel times. We'll end in Two Harbors, where sauna days are returning for another year. Events kick off tomorrow at Larsmount Cottages and run through Sunday. Guests can enjoy 3 days of unique sauna sessions and cold plunges into Lake Superior. Guest speakers will be in attendance to talk about the health benefits and the significance of saunas in Finnish culture. There will also be craft beer, food from local restaurants, live music, and more. We'll have all that ticket information on our website. And if there's something going on in your neighborhood that you think we should know about, send us an email and it might be featured as we take you around the Northland city by city.